Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. This is Sunday Politics on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloye in Lagos. Tonight, there's been a lot of crises in the political atmosphere in Nigeria. So we begin in Ondo State, where the frenzy over the governorship race is already causing disaffection. It all started with the deputy governor, Mr. Agbola Ajayi, claiming that the governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, prevented him from leaving the government house. Let me show you a viral video where the deputy governor was seen confronting the police boss, asking him why he's being prevented from moving out. The allegations are that the governor, Akeredolu, sent the police commissioner to bar the deputy governor from leaving following his planned defection to the opposition party, People's Democratic Party, PDP. But the governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, has denied ordering the commissioner of police, Bolaji Salami, to bar his deputy, Agbola Ajayi, from leaving the government house. Reacting to the development, Governor Akeredolu described the claim as a concocted and devious lie meant to discredit him. Let me allow you to watch some part of that confrontation.
You're already defecting. That's what it's even like he's doing it now, not anybody. No, you're already defecting. How? Even your letter was brought to me this evening. That what? That you are doing it on Monday. So if I if I do it, not are you not a excuse me, please, are you not a police officer? It's not that. If I'm leaving a place for other people, what's so concerned about? Are you an APC chairman? Are you the PDP chairman?
Part of the confrontation between the deputy governor and the police official there. Well, earlier today, the deputy governor made his decision public. Deputy Governor Agbola Ajayi has resigned his membership of the All Progressive Congress, APC. Mr. Ajayi announced his resignation at his country home in Ondo, local government area of the state. This is coming a few hours after he was allegedly prevented by the State Commissioner of Police, Bolaji Salami, from moving out of the government house. The deputy governor also used the opportunity to pick his membership card of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, right there at his word in Apoi community. Okay, so we will see if we can connect to the deputy governor to hear his own side of the story, the reasons why he's left the APC, and whether or not he's interested in the governorship race. But let's switch gears now and go to Ondo State, where the APC will tomorrow be conducting the governorship primary to determine who the flag bearer of the party in the election will be. Take a look at some of what the party is saying in terms of the guidelines provided for tomorrow's exercise. The party says it's set for Monday direct election across the wards in Ondo State. The party's guideline for the exercise tomorrow includes that the exercise will commence at 8 a.m. at the various wards in the local government areas. Election to follow. Ondo State extant laws prohibiting gathering of more than 20 persons, not more than 18 persons, including presiding officers and INEC observers, shall be at ward voting centers at any point in time. The party is also saying there shall be simultaneous accreditation and voting in batches, as aforesaid, until all eligible members have cast their vote without violation of the state's COVID-19 regulations. It also says that not more than 18 persons shall be in attendance for the announcement of results at all ward centers and collation of results at all levels, including the state collation. That is the guidelines as provided by the committee organizing a primary election for the APC ahead of the governorship election in Ondo State. By the way, there seems to be some crises over that controversy, I meant to say, over the conduct of tomorrow's exercise. Take a listen to Mr. Ansem Ojezua, who is a fractional chairman of the APC in Ondo State, insisting that a planned primary of tomorrow is illegal. Take a listen to Mr. Ojezua.
Whatever they do tomorrow, the bona fide members of APC in Ondo State will not be party to it. Number one, it is illegal. Number two, it is not our choice. Number three, Edo State, I repeat, is not a colony of any individual or group of persons. We will not accept it. Should they continue, it will be a nullity. We will go to court to enforce our rights. Nigeria is a democratic country.
Well, let's speak to the secretary of the Edo APC Governorship Election Planning Committee, Senator Ajibola Basiru. He's in our Benin studio. He joins us now to discuss the primary of tomorrow. Thank you, Senator. It's good to see you again, and thanks for joining us tonight. Let's begin the conversation, perhaps, from that controversy of what you heard Mr. Ansem Oljezua was the factional APC chairman in Edo State. He said tomorrow's exercise is illegal.
I wouldn't want to join issues with Aslem. To the best of my knowledge, the National Working Committee that set up my committee does not recognize the so-called factional chairmanship. And I don't know when it has become Supreme Court of Nigeria to declare an action that we are taking in line with the constitution of our party to be a nullity. I think what is saying is merely a political statement to satisfy his people that are his paymasters. So I would not join issue with him. But what I know is that the committee that I'm the secretary and that His Excellency Senator Hope Usondima, the governor of Imo State, is chairman, was inaugurated on Thursday at the National Secretariat of our party at Blantyre Street, Wuse, at which no less than 12 members of the National Working Committee were physically present at that forum. So I don't know what he's talking about talking about legality. And we are conducting this primary without reference even to the state branch of the party. Our committee is a committee of the National Working Committee, deriving its authority from the constitution of our party. So I would not want to join issues with him. If he wants to go to court, he's welcome to go to court, whether he has even a candidate that will imbue him with local standing to do so. So let him constitute himself as Supreme Court in his bedroom.
You're a lawyer, Senator, so it's interesting to have this conversation with you on, and you've experienced what court and decisions of the court can mean for a political party. For example, your party is involved in at least 5 legal matters regarding Edo State, the leadership of the party at the center. Are you afraid, or have you, in the first place, cleared all of these before going ahead of tomorrow's exercise?
You cannot stop people from litigating frivolous cases in court. It is for the court of law to see through the frivolity, vexatiousness, and the abuse that those cases constitute. What I know is that our party is set to conduct primary tomorrow. We have met with the leadership of the party here. We have appointed presiding officers in line with the guidelines set up by our party at the local government and ward level. And by 8 a.m., by the grace of Almighty God, the polling will open at all the 192 wards in the 18 local governments in Edo State. So that I know very much. In terms of litigation, people can always try their luck there. And those people that are talking, the question you ask them is this. The candidate that the man speaking there as factional chairman represents is already in the PDP. So I don't know what locus he has, talking about legality or otherwise of the primary of our political party. I think he should just keep his shame and go and join his paymaster at the People Democratic Party, and I will face them at the election. I was there last 4 years, and you know, Shehu, the candidate I support, by the grace of God in our party, triumph, and by the grace of God, the candidate we support now will also triumph with the will of the people of Edo State. We have been in Edo State, we have been moving around, we have seen atmosphere of conviviality, contrary to the atmosphere of fear they want to create. We have met with all security agencies, and they have assured that they will act without fear or favor, affection or ill will, in ensuring that there's security and law and order for the election. I just stepped out of here after my meeting and that of my committee with the Commissioner of Police and the Director of SSS, and we gave them a guideline that clearly stipulates that we are conducting this primary in line with the COVID-19 regulation of the Edo State government. So, for instance, at each of our polling centers in 192 wards, there will not be congregation of more than 18 people, including observers and presiding officers at any point in time. So the polling will be in batches. in line with the COVID regulation. So we have been able to study regulation. We are a law-abiding political party. We will not contravene the COVID regulation, even though it was intended, thinking that there is no way around it in order to allow our party not to be able to conduct a peaceful primary. So we will not join issues with them. If they want to go to court, we hope to meet them in the court of law.
Senator, are you aware, in the first place, have you obtained a permit for this exercise of tomorrow from the state government? Because the last that I know, is that...
as you know, Sheung, I have a PhD in law, and I say it with all sense of modesty, that I've studied the regulation, and I have a copy here with me, even in the studio. The regulation only require anybody that intends to have a political gathering in excess of 20 people to seek for permission. I would not want to talk about the anachronism of that regulation, which in the same breath allowed the governor to give permit for 5,000 people to congregate in a single place. That is story for another day. That is story that prosperity will judge those who are present with us or power like us, whether they have done well in serving our people or serving our personal interests. But I say the regulation we have issued out does not require approval from anybody. It's only when you are doing something outside what has been stipulated that you require the approval. And we challenge the governor of Edo State to go to court to challenge our regulations. We challenge him possibly to take proper advice from his legal advisors.
Senator, the regulations that you're talking about is not only a regulation, is law, because it's been gazetted. Then it means that it's binding on every activity that happens. How can you ensure that the gathering cannot be more than 15? And it's also stipulated that you need to get a permit. Have you informed the state government in the first place?
I'm telling you, maybe you have, with respect, Sheung, I don't want to sound abusive. I'm not sure you have read that regulation. I've read it, and as I am now, if you can bring, I have a copy in the studio, they can bring it for you to read. It is only when you are doing a gathering, and it's a political gathering of people, of more than 20 people being at the same place, that you require approval. Then I've also told you, as a law-abiding political party, we have met with the leaders of security agencies in the state. We have shared our regulations with them, and they have not seen anybody contravening the law. Governor Obaseki cannot be the one making the law, interpreting and implementing the law. We read the guideline very well, and we structure our guideline very well to make our primary to be within the ambit of the law. So we don't need his approval. There's nothing in that regulation, and I challenge your legal advisors in your television station to read it too, that says that when you are having a gathering of less than 20 people, you require approval. Our guideline, which I signed on the authority of my chairman, Governor Opisodima, clearly stipulated that at no point in time are we going to have more than 18 people, even at the final collation of our result at the party secretariat tomorrow afternoon by the grace of Almighty God. All
right. I have read it, Senator Basiru, and the portion I've read talks about the fact that how you need to transmit your intention of conducting any political activities to the state government. But a critical question here is on the minds of
the governor of the state.
Just a moment, Senator.
To regulate political activity. The regulations was made pursuant to the quarantine law. Quarantine law can only make regulations with respect to health and infectious diseases. You cannot go purporting to do so by going to now seek to regulate political activity. That would be contrary to Section 41 or so of the Nigerian Constitution. So if he wants to go to court, we'll meet him in court that he has no power, he has no virus to regulate political activity. You cannot purportedly be regulating infectious diseases and now seeking to regulate political gathering. The only thing that has to do with violation of health has to do with large gathering of people, not more than 20 people. We are not gathering that. So if he seeks to regulate politics, regulate political activity with regulation, we will be very glad to meet him in the law court. And also we are ready, if he wants to arrest us, let him come and arrest us so that we can test his law in the law court. We cannot turn this country to a dictatorship. We're a democratic government under the law and under the Constitution.
All right. Senator, let me ask you, under whose, because the NWC, by the constitution of your party that I have here, state that the NWC will manage the affairs of a governorship election primary. So under whose leadership are you conducting this exercise? Is that of Senator Ajimobi or that of Mr. Victor Giadom?
I don't know. With respect to you, you are a political correspondent. Please, Mr. I told you that we were inaugurated at our party secretariat at about 2:30 p.m. on Thursday, and I believe your reporters were there. At that sitting, about 12 NWC members were there. They could have gone to see whether Mr. Giadon was anywhere near our secretariat for the past 2 weeks. So how can you be talking about leadership of somebody who has not even ventured to come to the secretariat? Let's forget what we are doing. If you also know that the release issued by Issa Onilu, our national police secretary, said that the decision has been taken by 18 out of about 22-man NWC, that this man you are mentioning, I don't want to mention his name again, is no longer a member of NWC. So if he wants to challenge that, let him go to court and challenge that. So there is no doubt, definitely, as of today, the acting chairman of our party is my leader, my mentor, Governor Isaka Ajimobi.
All right. Let me, because since you're a lawyer, again, I bring this information to bear because what we are discussing is also in relation to law. Court of Coordinate Jurisdiction has given orders recognizing the Giadom part of the leadership and also recognizing the Senator Ajimobi leadership of the party. Are you in any doubt about where this is headed? Because if two courts, one in Port Harcourt, one as a high court of the FCT, are giving different orders.
Orders of courts are not to be read and comply with when they are only published on pages of newspaper or broadcast on television stations like your own. Orders of court must be served on party concern for them to have the binding and positive effect. I can tell you authoritatively today that the purported order that is being bandied on pages of newspaper and on television has not been served on our party. It has not been served on the National Legal Advisor, and it says so much even on national television. So how can we be talking about an order of court that has not been served on us? That's one thing or the other. Then secondly, from what we read in the papers and heard in the news, they said an order ex parte granted in March, on March 16, was extended in June. It's an elementary law that even students in the law school know that order ex parte will abate after 7 days or 14 days, depending on under the rules of the court. And once abated, it cannot be extended. So without even contesting the legality and the basis of those purported orders, those orders, as far as we are concerned, is not known to the National Working Committee because it has not been served. It's only when you serve an order that you can be binded by order. If you have not been served with an order, can you be cited for contempt of those orders? The answer is obviously no. So as far as I'm concerned, yes.
Sorry, Senator. We'll go on a break, but when we come back, before we go on that break, I want you to quickly tell Nigerians your fears. You've seen this before in Zamfara, in Rivers State. Your party has been mentioned in this kind of legal tussle that led to a failure of the party. Are you afraid of this kind of situation?
Cases are decided based on facts, peculiar facts of those cases, and the applicable law. The case of Zamfara has to do with whether the primary was even conducted at all, which is a different thing entirely. The case of Rivers has to do with which faction of the party has the legality to do so. President, as I tell you, our committee was not set up by a state branch of the party. It was set up by the National Working Committee, and it is this committee that is conducting the primary on behalf of the National Working Committee. You will see from the letters to our presiding officers, letters we have written to security agencies, that this work is being done by the National Working Committee, not even by the chairman, because the impression being created is that the chairman of APC is a sole administrator, and that only chairman can take decision on behalf of the party.
Senator, stay with us. When we come back from this break, we will find out from you how many people are contesting in the race, because we understand that some people are already stepping down. So how many people are in the race? We'll take a break, and up next, who gets the APC ticket for the governorship election in Ondo State? We'll talk more about the process, those who are contesting, from Senator Bashiru Ajibala when we return from this break. everyone. Tomorrow, Monday, the 22nd of June 2020, the All Progressives Congress APC will go and conduct the governorship primary to determine who will be their flag bearer in the September election. Tonight, the Secretary of the Election Committee, Senator Ajibola Basiru, has been talking to us. He's a sitting senator in the National Assembly. Thank you so much, Senator, for your time. Let's get your some concluding questions from you tonight. First and foremost, let me ask, have you submitted registered names of members that will be participating, since you are conducting a direct primaries? Have you submitted the list of the members that will be participating and the list of the venues? Because from our investigation, INEC has not gotten that in Benin.
So I don't know whether you are in Benin or I'm the one that is in Benin. I know that INEC in Benin knows where the primaries are going to hold, and they are going to hold in 192 wards across the 18 local governments. So with respect, maybe your information is stale. Then also on the issue of submission of a register to INEC, I think that is not within, the mandate of our committee. I think that is the job of the National Secretariat, and you may direct inquiry as to that to Madam Wasiri Bulama, who is the National Secretary of our party. But as regards the actual conduct of the primary in this state, I will tell you that we are doing everything within the context of the guideline, and INEC representation in Abuja and in the states are fully aware, and I believe they are fully mobilized to witness the primaries in all the locations.
All right, let me get your quick thoughts on those who are, we understand that some candidates or aspirants in that race are stepping down. Give us an update on how many people are going for that primary election tomorrow.
I think I will have to get information as to that before tomorrow morning. What we are prepared for a contest among the three aspirants that have signified intention. They have fulfilled the requirements of our party, and they have been screened. And they are, my leader with respect, Dr. Pius Odubu, Mr. Obaze, and the Pastor Ize Yamu. So we are prepared to conduct full-length primary. But politics is a dynamic phenomenon. Within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, within hours, things can change. So possibly before the poll opens tomorrow, if you have a clear indication that any candidate step down, but notwithstanding, we will still have to go ahead with conducting some form of exercise to assure affirmation of whoever, even if there's a case of step down, which I'm not affirming in any way, will be able to say that party members overwhelmingly support that particular person. But I will say that the atmosphere among the three aspirants are very convivial, very cordial, and they have assured the party leadership that whoever wins the primary will get the support of other candidates at now.
So on a final note, will Mr. Adams Oshiomhole be voting in that exercise tomorrow? Do you know?
I'm not, with respect, I'm not publicity relation officer of my leader, Governor Adams Oshiomhole.
But you are the secretary,
so
Senator. You are the secretary of the governorship election, and you should have the register of those who are participating.
Is committed. What are you saying? I can't hear you, pardon?
What I'm saying is that as a secretary of the election committee, you should have an idea of the register of those who will be voting in that exercise. So the status, as the last time we checked, was those who are contesting whether or not Mr. Oshiomhole is a member of the party who will stand suspended, and others who are saying he has been reinstated. So I wanted to confirm from you whether or not the status of the embattled national chairman is being confirmed for an election tomorrow.
Is it the elections are going to be conducted at the ward level? There's a register of members, and there will be accreditation done simultaneously with voting. I don't have power of clairvoyance to know whether even Comrade Adams Oshiomhole is even in Edo State. And it does not matter whether is embattled, as we would like to say, or whether it is not, embattled. What matters is that no one man would constitute the entire party. It's a democratic process, and his vote, although matters, will not definitely be the one to sway in favor of what majority of our party people in Edo State want. So I won't want to draw myself into controversy about the embattlement or otherwise of my leader, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole.
Senator Ajibola Basiru, the secretary of the Edo APC governorship election primary of tomorrow, thank you indeed for talking to us tonight.
Thank you, Sheung. I hope you come down for the election.
Thank you so much. If you're safe enough, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And so, don't forget to let us know what your views are. We're tweeting live for you, and also we are live on Twitter and on Facebook, and in fact on YouTube. You can watch us there. Wherever you may be tonight, be part of the conversation on these handles that you can see on your screen. You also can send an email to us. Let us know what you're talking about. The email is politicstoday@channelstv.com. Let's switch gears now. We'll be staying with the issues in the APC. Well, the APC is embroiled in a series of crises, and the Senate president today met with the President Muhammadu Buhari and is bothered about the crisis rocking the party. Take a listen to what the Senate president said after meeting President Muhammadu Buhari at the villa earlier today.
This is the ruling party of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, with the president in control of the National Assembly, with more governors than any other political party. The situation must not be allowed to degenerate further than it has. And I believe that we must go into our constitution, the constitution of our party, and see how we are to address this. But we must not allow the situation to continue as it is today. I had the opportunity to discuss that with Mr. President, who is the leader of the party in Nigeria. And by the grace of God, in a very few days, we will see certain actions that will be taken. And I'm praying that all our leaders in the party across the country make every possible effort to get the party reconciled.
Okay, so it's getting somewhere. Will President Buhari intervene in the crisis rocking the APC? We've seen this kind of situation before. The young stakeholders under the platform of the APC are calling for the convocation of an emergency National Executive Committee meeting as part of efforts to resolve the leadership crisis bedeviling the party. They were addressing a news conference in Abuja today on the crisis of the APC. The Special Assistant to President Buhari on Innovations and spokesperson of the group, Ife Adebayo, says the name of the party and reputation that was heralded with so much hope and enthusiasm just a few years ago is being dragged in the mud. The group laments the failure of high-ranking members of the party in arresting the crisis before its escalation. Let's see what this means. It is not only them that are asking for emergency NEC meeting. We've heard series of leaders of the party that are now asking that the APC should convoke an emergency NEC meeting. What does this mean for the APC? Where does this leave Mr. Oshiomhole? Remember what happened a few months ago when this was going to happen and how it ended. Let's get to the conversation. I'm bringing one man back to the show today. He's Mr. Daniel Buwala. He's a lawyer and a member of the APC. The last time he was on this program, he was talking about the way he thinks things should go. But it does look like that pattern of conversation or advice was followed, and he looked now like a prophet. He joins me in our Abuja studio, as well as Honorable Sadiq Fakai. Is a member of the NEC and is the APC youth leader, Northwest. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming tonight. Let me begin with you, Honorable Fakai. You are one of those who are asking that the party should convoke an emergency NEC meeting. This was the fears a lot of people had earlier, a few months ago, and they thought that this was targeted at removing Adams Oshiomhole.
Well, it's okay. I can say the party, the APC as a party has constitution that is guiding the party. And I believe since when we come on board, the party has only NEC meeting twice, which by the constitution of the party, the NEC meeting should be held after 3 months. And why constitution stated that the NEC meetings of the party should be holding is by doing the NEC meeting, that will give opportunities for the leaders to checkmate and view the performance or any other challenges that is affecting the party so that at least with that can be addressed and the party can move forward. But failure to convey the NEC meeting, I so much believe that is what gave the room for all this crisis that is coming within the party. And I so much believe if the leadership of the National Working Committee or the leadership of the caucus by the Mr. President, when they agree, we pray by calling the National Executive Committee meeting, most of the burning issue within the party will be addressed. Thank you.
Well, you think that as it stands right now, that same fear is not re-echoing again, that calling for an emergency NEC meeting is targeted at removing Oshiomhole. Is that also part, is that also behind your mind now? Are you thinking about that too?
Well, as I said earlier, the party has constitution and it's stated clear in the party constitution that the NEC meeting should be held in three months. That is quarterly. So I think when the constitution is coming, I believe during that time, it's not Adam Oshiomhole that is the national chairman of the party. Someone is there before him. Now he is here. I think what I only insisted, not issue of removing Oshiomhole or any other person, nobody is talking about that. The avenue of having the NEC meeting, that is the only avenue that can give the party opportunity to address most of the problems, or even without the problems, the development that the party has, the challenges are looking for the way forward. So issue of removing Adam Oshiomhole or not Adam Oshiomhole is not what is making the party to call for a NEC meeting. It's there in the constitution and it's binded, and the good thing is that let the leaders do the right thing so that will give room for addressing most of the problems of the party.
Mr. Bwala, let me put the same question to you. You spoke about what Mr. Oshiomhole is facing right now, the issues in the court and those who are opposing him, and what we have seen. So today, for example, from Rivers State, some leaders of the party said they've suspended Mr. Victor Giadom. Well, so where does this leave Mr. Oshiomhole? Because the fear that his removal might be raised at the emergency NEC meeting. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, two issues you raised at the moment. The first one is in relation to the status of Comrade Oshiomhole. If you look at the multiple suits in the court and the recent steps taken by his ward executive to have him recalled, I think that his status, both in law, equity, and fact, is that he stands returned. All he needs is the same way you enter your car and drive to the office and resume, because suspension was the premise on which he was kept out of office. And the said suspension has been overruled or taken out or lifted by the same ward executive. So by law, his status at the moment is the national chairman and not a suspended national chairman. In any case,
just a moment. Sorry, who is the real chairman of Mr. Oshiomhole's Ward 10 in Esako? Because we heard some people in Abuja saying he's been reinstated. Another person said he's not reinstated, it's fake news. So we get to it as if we're able to sort out those footage. But that's what I wanted to show our viewers tonight so that they can have an understanding of what is happening. If that is a premise in which you're talking, do you think that that can stand?
Yes, I think that for the purposes of your viewers, you can play that, but I've seen the pictures of the motion picture. You see, the ward executive, the chairman of the ward executive that is alleging that they have not lifted the suspension. First is the chairman of the executive, not even executive, the chairman of the faction
that was expelled by the ward executive. But assuming you are not even raising an issue from it, that man that spoke had the people he called his executive, all of whom have moved to PDP. He was asked to stay behind to create enough problems for APC in that place. So let's take it, assuming without considering that he's the chairman. Can one man constitute the executive? Our constitution does not support that. There is no constitution, including the constitution of the party they are moving to, does not support a one man constituting himself as an executive. So if a king does not have a kingdom and does not have a people, he is not a king. And that is the fact. But you see, the legality of whatever he said or did is being challenged in the court. And that's not the path I'm going. In the eyes of the law, the executive that are remaining, the executive that are right now operating in that is local government, the executive of APC are the ones recognized by law and are the ones they have lifted the suspension. So there is no controversy, as it were. The man is standing alone. Let him come to the screen and show you. And the good thing that I like is that today we are seeing him because we are going to follow through and see his activities in PDP. And then we will contrast and see whether a person in the eyes of the law can belong to two political parties, engage in activities of two political parties for the purposes of election or for the purposes of political association. That, at the end of the day, is going to indict the person that he is projecting as a flag bearer or ticket bearer of the party that he has gone to. But when we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. As it stands today, Adams Oshomole is the national chairman. The suspension has been lifted. But you see, the decision is still up to him and to the National Working Committee. I'm just giving you my opinion as a member of the party and as a private citizen that based on the procedure that has been followed, there is no legal impediment that should stop him from walking into the office and performing the duties of the national.
Zabuala. So for the sorry, apologies. Sorry, let me. Sorry, Mr. Abuala, for a moment. We wanted to play that footage for you. One person in Abuja saying, or a group of people with the NWC that we saw in the footage saying, Mr. Oshomole has been reinstated. Let's take a listen. And the other one saying, he stands suspended. Take a listen to that.
We have reviewed the circumstance lead to the suspension of Comrade Adams Oshomole and found no merit in an litigation process in a club. 2, we hereby lift the suspension process on Comrade Adams Oshomole by the word. We call all organs of our great party to restore all rights and privilege of membership to Comrade Adams Oshomole.
We take a break, and when we come back, we look into the crisis of the APC, whether or not President Buhari will intervene, whether or not there will be an emergency NEC meeting. Up next on the program, everyone, the APC, which is now looking like a house of commotion. Where is the way out? We'll discuss more after now, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Let's get back to the conversation with Mr. Daniel Buala, a lawyer and a member of the APC, and Honorable Sadiq Fakai, a member of the APC NEC. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming tonight. Quickly, Mr. Buala, you heard those two sound bites of those who said he stand reinstated and the other one who said no, he still stands suspended. Just in 30 seconds, if you can respond so that we can hear from Honorable Fakai.
Even on the evidence of logic and common sense, anybody who sees these two pictures can arrive at the conclusion. The first one, they came to the National Working Committee, National Secretariat, and there were more than 15 in number seated, and one was addressing the established body. But in the other picture, you find one man and two people standing behind him like security agents. And he said that is the entire committee. Can 3 people constitute the committee? In one picture, you have more than 15 to 16 people seated before established body of the party to say, this is our resolution, this is our situation. In one, you see, even from your picture, you caught up with him somewhere at night, and you see him standing with 2 people by his side like security officers. Even on the evidence of logic, can't that send a message to you?
So, Mr. Boala, as it stands right now, do you fear that if the emergency NEC meeting is convoked today, the issue of the removal of Adam Shoshomole could be raised?
You see, I've been trying to reserve my comment regarding this NEC. If you look at strict provision, if you look at our constitution strictly, there are procedures. Even if you're conceiving the thought and the idea of removing him, there are procedures to follow. For example, the Constitution recognizes fair hearing not as dictated by our Constitution, but dictated by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the doctrine of fair hearing is that you will notify whoever you want to take a step against, give him time. And our Constitution has always emphasized 7-day notice. He should study the particulars of why you want to remove him. He will come before the committee that wants to remove him. He will put up a case. And if they find that the case is not worthy, then they can take a decision. You see, these stages cannot happen in one event or in 2 sittings of the committee of the NEC. And secondly, there are people who are calling for NEC meeting to resolve the problem. If you have studied our Constitution very well, the body established with the responsibility of reconciliation, managing the conscience of the party and the rest, are the board of trustees that run through the entire party. And they don't need an emergency meeting to do this function of reconciliation and meeting the people. NEC merely meet to ratify decisions, to take drastic decisions in the party for the overall interest of the good of the party. So when people are calling for NEC because they want to remove somebody, they are misplacing the priority that is contained in the Constitution.
So you are saying, in essence, so Mr. Boala, so in summary, yeah, so Mr. Boala, in essence, you're saying there's no need for a NEC meeting.
There has to have a basis for the meeting. What are they going to meet? If it is because of the multiple crises in court, can you meet without the decisions of court?
So I know Mr. Fakai does not agree with that. Mr. Fakai, how do you react to what Mr. Boala has said, that there's no basis for the emergency NEC meeting you're calling for?
Well, in my own view, I have contrary opinion to Mr. Juwala. The reason is the party has a constitution that stated that quarterly the NEC meeting should be called. The NEC meeting, the importance of calling the NEC meeting is to give avenue for the national officers to address problem of the party. Neither there is issue or there is no issue. There is requirement by the constitution the NEC meeting should be held quarterly. So issue of calling for the NEC meeting either to remove somebody or not to remove somebody or the constitutional. Already the NEC are the strong organ, are the #1 organ of the party. And talking about the board of trustees thinking that, I don't know, maybe he's not aware that the party, since one is come on board, it has not constituted the BOT. So if to say we have the BOT as the party, I believe that will relieve most of the tension. That can be part of the thing that will checkmate. But by the constitution of the APC, the higher body of the APC that can checkmate everything now is the NEC. And whatever the National Working Committee are doing, they cannot do it and take decision 100% without taking it to the NEC for rectification. The position of the constitution of the party is NEC should be held quarterly. And I think it's high time, since when we come on board for 2 years now, the NEC has only held in twice. And there is need for an emergency NEC meeting to address most of the crisis of the party. And that solve internal issue when you come together as a member. And the only avenue is by convening the NEC meeting.
Honorable Fakai, are you also one of those who view these crises in your party as such that if, for example, because I've heard this from some of, it's been out there, that some people are saying, if Mr. Shoshomole step aside, you might be able to resolve the crisis. Do you hold that view too?
Well, issue of Mr. Shoshomole or not Mr. Shoshomole, the party is guided by the Constitution. Anybody that come or anybody that is here can govern the party. Now, court has suspended Shoshomole. Somebody is here acting on his behalf, and the activities of the party has continued.
Not acting on his behalf.
Somebody is acting at his own capacity as the deputy national chairman, because what the Constitution says in Section 14, Section 9, in the absence of the national chairman, the deputy national chairman, we have 2 deputy national chairmen, north and south. The deputy national chairman from the national chairman zone should act on his behalf. Now, in the Constitution, the deputy national chairman is acting on his behalf, and nothing stopped from the party activities, as you can see. So issue of being in the opinion of either Shoshomole should step aside so that the party activities, as far as a NEC member, My responsibility coming from being a national officer and being the national leader of the APC in charge of Northwest, Oshomale being around or Oshomale not being around, that doesn't distract me from doing my primary responsibility. Constitution has defined any of the executive officer his responsibility.
Let's conclude this conversation.
I think that is not the case.
Yeah, let's conclude this conversation. And I'll ask Mr. Boala a similar question, is the fact that how important is President Buhari's intervention? How important will it be in this matter? As a crisis gotten to that point that if President Buhari does not intervene, your crisis in a big quagmire.
I think so, President. The quest and request for the president's intervention is long overdue. I mean, it was ready since yesterday. And because of high degree of respect that party members have for the president, if the president sits with the parties, the respective parties, they will definitely listen to him. But don't forget that the president made concerted effort from the press release we got from Femi Adesina, that the president actually made the effort in Edo State to reconcile parties. But we can all see that the governor was not ready. And that was why he went and obtained 5 different orders from court to stop every person from making effort to reconcile. He got order against the Governors Forum. He got order against the National Assembly Senate. He got order against the House of Rep. He got orders against individuals. So nobody could. In fact, let me tell you, Sean, if we look at the strict application of order and respect to the constituted authority and orders of court, by now, I mean, as today, the Senate, House of Rep, Governors Forum, and all the people that he got orders against cannot intervene in the matter. The only good thing for us is that he ceased to be a member of the party. So that order now is in a court. But when they talk about calling for next meeting is ratified. How do you begin to ratify? The judgment of court, decision of the party. Don't forget that NWC by our constitution are carrying out the instructions and some of the directives of the NEC. When they sit to a day-to-day responsibility that they carry out, most of which are the instructions of the NEC members.
All right.
So there has to have a basis.
Let me get Mr. Fakai. Mr. Fakai will lead us to the end of the program. So in few seconds, Mr. Fakai, do you hold the same view as Mr. Boala in regards of president's intervention in this matter?
No. I think the president is the leader of the party. And in any case, if there is any issue in your house, you should intervene and address it. A lot of Nigerians have so much respect for president, and the president is the leader of the party, and his intervention is needed at this particular time, because we need this party as a member of NEC, and we need his intervention. And I believe by convening the NEC meeting, that will address the issue. And in responding, just taking part of what he has said, issue of the National Working Committee acting on behalf of the NEC. In the Constitution, there is no that provision. The provision of the role of the National Working Committee is to handle the day-and-day activities of the party, as in more of operational activities of the party. Major decisions have to go to the NEC for ratification before taking any decision.
All right.
So you want the NEC to come
and most of the activities now, I think when the Constitution tells you this, and we are in a country that we respect law, we should be guided by that same Constitution. That's why in most of those cases, people are running to court, trying to get court intervention.
Mr. Honorable Sadiq Fakai, member of APC NEC, and also Mr. Daniel Boala. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your interventions tonight, and we wish you and your party the best. Well, stay with Channels Television tomorrow. Channels Television will bring you the details of the primary in Edo State of the APC. Stay with us for all of that. That's our show for tonight, and thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.